paycheck to paycheck culture, how it's becoming worse, and just highlighting a little bit about the financial fragility which you've seen in the American normal workers culture and how it's creeping into other countries.
I mean, I think, of course, I've seen both the cultures in, America. I've seen it, I would say, very closely, where people who used to work for me in some companies, and I used to see that, them doing this when living paycheck to paycheck. And every time, I still remember one of the companies, a girl who got a job as a junior salesperson in one of the teams, salary of $25,000-$30,000. And next day, she just drives to the office in a brand new Jeep. And because she had an offer letter, she goes somewhere, you get able to get loan, and she's just driving, and she used to dress up like as if she is like, I'm an old guy, so I'll just say Marilyn Monroe or something, or Madonna, or they're all oldies now, right? But she used to drive to she come to the office like that. I think, as she was good looking, but dressing up every day in new dresses. I used to think $30,000, and at that time my salary was more than $100,000, and I was thinking, $30,000 or $25,000, some salary like that, and how is she able to afford all this? And I think you mentioned lifestyle inflation. We are responsible for that. And then she worked and she got involved with some boy, and there was some sexual harassment charge, and both of them ended up getting fired. Of course, I don't know what happened to her, but I'm sure that I think she may have had to declare bankruptcy or something like that. US has all these things. Individual they can't pay the loans or something, and they can kind of come out of this, return the car and all. But I think that is, to some degree, we are responsible for it. To some degree, not always. I have also seen cases where someone having 2-3 children, we were all information workers, information technology workers. So our salaries were on the higher side. But salaries of other people, who are office managers, accountants, they never grew like the salaries of IT workers or IT engineers grew. So they continued to make, if they're making $20,000, they will grow to $30,000 after 10 years, right? Because there are plenty of those guys you can find at any time. And later on, many, in outsourcing, many of those jobs got outsourced to India for half that price also. So for people like them, I saw there was genuine cases where they couldn't really, they have 2-3 children, they're schooling, even though schooling in US is free, you go to public schools, there you can't blame them. And they would have to do 2 jobs. Their husband don't do 2 jobs. Now you hear those cases. People work at a restaurant. They finish restaurants, they work in the evening. Morning, they do some other job. And after they come out of restaurant, they do some other job somewhere else. 3 jobs. I have seen many new migrants doing that, because they're all on minimum wage everywhere. And to just sustain their lifestyle in places like California, you need to do 2-3 jobs. But then on the other hand, I also see this lifestyle inflation. Now, these things are quite common in America too, and in India too. These things are quite common in India too now. I have seen cases here. As soon as the guy gets a big package job, he gets of course, he rents an apartment, he gets a new car, and his kids go to private school. And then before you know it, you find that every single rupee that you're earning is accounted for. And I can share that I think a couple of people in the kind of last few years have called me because they didn't have money to pay for their son's tuition. So I had to help them. And these guys, I thought, must be making a lot of money. And perhaps they were,
But the question here is this, right? Is this is this a system issue? Is it a mindset issue?
It's a mindset. It's a peer pressure mindset. It's an issue like that, When we had less, we were happy with less, right? My first job, I had 3,000 rupees salary. Of course, I used to live with my parents. Had I said, no, I'm going to live by myself. And even those days, if I got in a room or an apartment or something, it would have been 1,000 rupees a month minimum, Now the same thing would be 20,000 rupees a month. But Those days may have been 1,000 rupees. So let's say 1/3 of my salary goes there, right? Then I choose not to do that. I stayed with my parents, and I just had a bike. My expenses were just my bike's petrol and some food outside. I mean, the rest of the things are taken care of. And I think that culture is gone completely now. People living within your means, that is kind of anybody who's making 20, 30, 40 lakhs here or 20, $30,000 there, they all of a sudden think that, oh, I make a lot of money. And they're not able to figure out that how living within means. And of course, the fact that, in America we have a saying that your net worth is not how much you make or how much you have, but how much you can get from others. Loan. How much loan you can get. I remember one American guy told me. He said, here net worth is not how much you're worth to others, not how much your worth is. How much are you worth to others? So ours worth to others is how much money can bank give you. That is what it is. I mean, imagine that is your worth. If that your net worth even here in India changes your net worth to be that, then nothing is that will lead to all this. No.
Interesting. And how do you think we should navigate? So this is one side of the spectrum, right? Which is not living within the means. But the other side, which you just said,
it depends on the people. See, I didn't have, that mindset. I shouldn't claim that I had a mindset of saving. But I saw in a generation like my son, I did learn from people like him, he had in his mindset that every month he should save 20% of his salary. Whatever he's earning, 20% of that he should save every month. So I think a mindset like that is very good. So you should learn to live in the rest. Then you will not overspend. Now, whether you say, okay, it's 20% saving, 30% saving, 10% saving, that is up to you. And it's not that everybody is living outside of their means. There are people who are living within their means. Right? So I think they should be able to, there is a precedent, as they say, and then you should be able to do that.